This is WSIA Staten Island 88.9 FM. I'm Chris Soriano, and right now I'm joined on the phone by Trig from Fall from Grace. Trig, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Let's start now.
Right.
Fall from Grace. You guys are amazing. We got your music in the station. I've been playing it on my show. Love you guys. I just want to ask you a few questions here today. Now, describe the type of rock that Fall from Grace makes. You know, for the person that's listening for the first time now.
Well, I think what we've heard from a radio station that's playing us. I think they're classifying us as alternative rock, but that's so broad and vague. You know, when we wrote the Romance Years, we used to be a punk band. Everything was real fast
Right.
and crazy and screaming. It was still pretty melodical, but the new record, the Romance Years, we kind of wanted to do a record that was just a rock record, right? And so we looked at the Foo Fighters' Color and the Shape as kind of a model, because that's one of my favorite records of all time, and we just wanted it to kind of be a really good rock record and flow. I would say we're just a basic rock band, but we definitely have some epic moments on the record. We definitely have some pop punk moments on the record. We have there's a choir breakdown on one song, and there's some acoustic stuff, and it's got all the bells and whistles, I thought, to make a decent record. We spent over a year in the studio making it.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm a big Foo Fighters guy, so you guys got good taste. I can already tell that I have something in common with Fall from Grace. This is great now. Now we're getting started. All right. So you mentioned the Romance Years in that. So I just want to ask you, the Romance Years now, it's your guys' new album. Tell me a little bit about Romance Years.
We started writing as demos. We were going to go back into the studio and record a full-length record. And so we were just initially writing some demos. And the thing that we wanted to get away from is that, when you're out touring and you're home, it seems like you're rushing through writing another record to get it pumped out, to get back on the road, to make sure that people don't forget about you. And what we decided was we were going to take a risk and really spend some time with these songs. So a very good friend of mine who owns his own recording studio, we started demoing the stuff in his studio, and then the demos ended up turning into the full songs. We wrote 20 songs and fully recorded all of them, put them all together, and then we picked the top 12 for the record. But like I said, we spent over a year making the record, which was very, very wonderful because we got an opportunity to really grow as musicians and kind of refine our sound and really know what we were what kind of an evolved sound that we were going after. Like if you listen to all of our records from A to Z, this is our fourth record that we put out. It sounds like a natural progression, which is good because I thought that we were kind of really reaching for the stars on this one, really changing our style, and it's not that much different, In 2009, our rhythm section decided to leave playing music. And so Brian and myself, we were really concerned with that because we were like, okay, we're all still really close and all, but it was just one of those things where it's like, how much is that going to influence the new record? Well, it turns out Brian and I were the main songwriters in the initial, for the most part anyway. And so it didn't really change all that much, but Brian and I just decided, look, we want to do a record that's a little bit more mature, a little bit more for us as opposed to target market, I guess. And I think we achieved it with the record. I'm really proud of it.
WSIA Staten Island 88.9 FM. I'm Chris Ryan. We're sitting here talking with Trig from Fall from Grace, one of the newest bands that we're playing here on the station, and we love them a lot. Now, growing up, what kind of music did you personally listen to, Trig?
Well, I was raised on a diet of black music, rhythm and blues, Chicago-style blues, Buddy Guy, Muddy Waters, that kind of stuff, and then also the Beatles. So I had a very good,
not bad
backbone of rhythm and blues and pop. And so when I got older, I found hair metal and regular metal, like Metallica and Motley Crue were my two favorite bands when I was growing up, like junior high and stuff like that. And I used to have pictures on my wall of Nikki Sixx and all those guys, be like, I'm going to be that someday. It was just one of the things. It was always a constant in my life. Rock and roll was always always a constant, which, I mean, rock and roll is a derivative of rhythm and blues anyway. But I was really into, the beginnings of metal, but also pop. Like, I was listening to a lot of 80s melodic music as well, like Duran Duran and stuff like that. And I think you can kind of hear a little bit of that coming through on this record. I mean, songs like The Romance Years have, like a searing guitar solo that Brian laid down, and it was just one of those things where, like, I mean, we both grew up on a diet of metal at one point or another, and it was cool to be able to pull some of those cards out, like, in the recording and writing process. So it was great.
Now, I know when a band, obviously when they make a song and they make music and they have an album come out, it's really tough to sit there and go, well, what was your favorite song that you did on the album? I just want to ask this to you, Trig.
Well, you're right. That is a really hard question to ask, because it's like asking your mom, who are your favorite kids, right? Out of 12 children, who are my favorite ones? I would have to say, though, that it depends on my mood. Like if I'm listening to the record and I'm in a more relaxed mood,
right,
I'm going to go to, like, Great Expectations, the acoustic, The Resurrection, or maybe I'm Out of My Head. Those are kind of, the real pocket-oriented groove-style rock tunes. Or if I'm getting my morning coffee on and I want to get amped up, I like listening to Your Majesty and 18 Out and Fade to Gray. I don't know. It was hard. It took me about 6 months to figure out the song order, because I couldn't get the album to flow in the way that I really wanted it to flow. So at the end of the day, what I ended up doing was doing a song order like an old school vinyl. You got a side A and a side B.
Right.
And the greatest thing is we just had vinyl pressed. And it's cool. It sounds like it, So it's so hard for me to say as far as my favorite one, because I do love them all individually.
What's the atmosphere like when Fall from Grace goes on the road and does a live show?
I'm really glad that you asked this question, because now it's a lot different than what it was a couple of years ago.
How so?
A couple of years ago, every time that we would play a show, being on tour, it was one of those things where we were so burned out, and there was other strifes that were going on in my personal life,
mm-hmm.
that I hated it. I hated walking on stage. I hated performing. I wasn't a big fan of myself, and I just didn't really care about much of anything. I was very self-destructive.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where I couldn't wait to just get off the stage and get done with it. Now, when I walk onto a stage, it's great. Like, because of the lineup change, the people that we have that are, my new drummer and bassist and our third guitarist, they're all great friends. We've been friends for literally over a decade, and it's like family. And now when we hit the stage or we're on the road, like, the camaraderie is really wonderful. We all love each other. We're all adults. We all look at things a lot different now, and we appreciate things a lot more. And when I get to walk on stage, it's like the happiest moment of my life. I look into the stage and I'm smiling, and I look out at the audience, and I'm very appreciative to be able to still be able to do it, and how much it means to me that people love to be part of what we're doing. So it's an overwhelming happiness that I feel now.
That's great, man. Unbelievable. WSIA 88.9 FM. We're sitting here talking with Trig from Fall from Grace. For the WSIA listener that's listening to Fall from Grace for the first time, tell me, does Fall from Grace have any music videos coming out?
Well, we do. I'm glad you asked. Yeah, actually, we just saw the preliminary for 18 and Out last night. And my buddy Ryan Short's editing studio, that's King of Hearts, who's been a very good friend. We did a few videos with him a couple of years ago. So, of course, when it looked like we were, going to do another video, I called him and I was like, Ryan, dude, you got to do this video. Like, I have the utmost faith in your ability. He's super talented. Actually, he just got off tour with Mudhoney, following them around the world to do a documentary on them. Like, he's very active in the music scene in Seattle, and he takes a lot of pride in the grunge or punk rock scene. He knows a lot, so anyway, we're releasing the video for 18 and Out.
We're losing you a little bit, Trig.
I'm sorry, I'm going through tunnel.
Oh, okay.
Almost to the end.
So you're going through a tunnel right now?
Yeah, I'm almost done. I'm sorry. I'm on my way across the greater state. Oh, there we go. All right, I popped out. Can you hear me better now?
yeah, that's great.
Awesome. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry about it.
No, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be long-winded. Yeah, we have a single 18 and out. We have a video coming out for that at the beginning of April, which is a live show that we did for our CD release here locally in Seattle at a venue called the Neptune, which is a beautiful, beautiful theater that we had the privilege of playing with. The first local crew of bands played there in, I think it was like, I want to say 15, 20 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a great show, beautiful venue. It had a lot of stained glass. It was very, very wonderful. Live footage came out remarkable from that, and then we had some footage of us inside the van goofing around, just being ourselves. And it's really kind of, I gotta say, it's really kind of documentary style. It's kind of intimate, where it like, it's kind of a serious song, but we're kind of goofballs. So it encapsulates the humor and camaraderie that's inside the band, and it really comes through. And yeah, it's great.
Where can people go to find Fall from Grace music?
You can check out our website, fallfromgrace.us, or our Facebook, facebook.com/fallfromgracemusic. Or you can actually just search us on YouTube. You can go, Fall from Grace. We got 4 music videos that are up on YouTube.
Sweet.
And we've also got a lot of clips of when we went to Europe a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Just put it in the search, FFG Summer Hell Tour or European Tour, and there's some funny stuff. We're going to release here in the next month. We're also going to release. I put together a video. My very good friend in another band located in Baltimore. Actually, I'm a minister on the side. I had the opportunity of being the minister for him and his now wife's wedding last summer, and
okay.
I put together a video for them of when our bands went to Europe and toured together, and it is absolutely hilarious.
Wow.
So that's going to be coming out on our website in the next month.
Can't wait for that, man. Couple more questions, Trig, and we're going to wrap up the interview. First, where did the name Fall from Grace come from?
Naming a band is really, really hard. Like, I can't even imagine what it would be like to name a child, right? Like, I probably went through 1,000 different name ideas, but I was a huge fan of Anne Rice. Like, before the big vampire craze that hit us, a couple of years ago, I used to read Anne Rice when I was in junior high and high school. So I was a big fan of the Vampire Chronicles. And I was watching an interview with the vampire one day, and I was just watching it, and there's a scene in it where Brad Pitt, who's playing Lewis, the vampire Lewis, he goes, something, that was my Fall from Grace. And I just like, oh my God, that's so perfect. That's such a great band name. So I wrote it down and took it to the guys, and everybody loved it. And then Fall from Grace ended up kind of becoming a saying for us, because we did the TV show in 2007. It was like, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. And, everybody has their Fall from Grace. And it kind of became a saying for us because the band has, individually, we've gone through a lot of struggles and stripes, and it's about rising to the top, rising above all that crap. So,
Trig, you brought up the television show. Tell me your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings. Tell me about your reaction on winning Fuse TV's reality show, Bodog Music Battle of the Bands, and winning a $1 million recording contract.
Well, the whole contest, when we initially entered it locally, we kind of, I hate to say it, but we did it as a joke because, a lot of people that do Battle of the Bands, like, usually a band never really wins. It's a small prize, or it's usually the promoter that is kind of, bamboozling the bands. But in this case, it was all legit, but we didn't realize it. And there were 3 rounds that was locally here in Seattle that we did. We didn't know that it was going to become a TV show. We were told that it was going to be 3 rounds locally, and then everybody was going to fly to Los Angeles and do the 4th round in LA. Well, after the 3rd round, that when they said that we had won, they said, "Oh, hey, guess what? It's going to become a reality TV show. You're flying to Cleveland in 2 weeks to start it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame." So it's just kind of like, are you kidding me? I'm going to be on reality TV? I hate reality TV. So, we for 9 weeks we filmed across America on tour buses, and it was basically a party. I've had the opportunity to work as crew in reality TV, and crew versus cast. Cast, all you do is you drink, you party, you have fun, you basically be yourself to give content for something that they can film, right?
Not bad.
But we just had a blast. It wasn't really all about the music. It was more about the camaraderie and how much fun you could have on the road, and since we were no novices to touring, it was a good time, and we loved to party. We always have a good time. So when they finally said that we had won, it was the most surreal moment of my life. It was like you worked so hard and for so long to finally get to that point, right? And it was like, and you finally got there, and it was weird. Like I had expected to be like, oh yeah, what's up? I'm totally like $1 million is rad, but it was like I wanted to go into a hole and like cover myself with a rock. It was a very odd experience, and it was a wonderful night, and I got the opportunity to hang out with Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols.
Nice.
He was a judge on the show, but we got to like really he carried my gear from the House of Blues to the Hyatt where we were staying on Sunset Boulevard.
Dude, that's amazing.
It was a very surreal moment in my life.
That's great. It's like, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Anything new about Fall from Grace? Anything newer?
We've got the Romancers is out. We just got vinyl pressed. We will be touring over the months of May, June, and possibly July. I cannot talk about the confirmed tours yet, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I can say that we will be all over the United States this summer. So
sounds good.
When we're in New York, you better come out and let me buy you a beer.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And you know what? I will hold you to that. I will hold you to it.
Absolutely. I know how you New Yorkers are. Yeah, I love New York. I got relatives in Queens.
I'm actually you know what? Queens is right where Melinda lives.
Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Really?
Melinda is a Queens girl. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm writing down Trig will buy me a beer when he comes to New York.
Good.
Trig, thanks so much, man.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Good stuff, right? Trig from Fall from Grace here at WSIA Style 88.9 FM. I'm Chris Soriano. Back after this.